Okay, so today we've got chapter 8, The Trunchbull. Okay, and after watching the film, we kind of know a little bit like this lady's already about. In the interval, Miss Honey left the classroom and headed straight for the headmistress's study. She felt wildly excited. She had just met a small girl who possessed, or so it seemed to her, quite extraordinary qualities of brilliance. There had not been time yet to find out exactly how brilliant the child was, but Miss Honey had learned enough to realise that something had to be done about it as soon as possible. It would be ridiculous to leave a child like that stuck in a bottom form. Normally, Miss Honey was terrified of her headmistress and kept well away from her. But at this moment, she felt ready to take on anybody. So she knocked on the door of a dreaded private study. "Enter!" boomed a deep and dangerous voice. Miss Honey went in. Now, most head teachers are chosen because they possess a number of fine qualities, a bit like Miss Millard. They understand children and they have the child's best interests at heart. They are sympathetic, they are fair, and they are deeply interested in education. Miss Trunchbull possessed none of these qualities. And how she ever got to her present job is a mystery. She was above all a formidable female. She had once been a famous athlete, and now even the muscles were still showing as evidence. You could see them in the bull neck, in the big shoulders, in the thick arms, in the wrists and in the powerful legs. And looking at her, you got the feeling that this was somebody who could bend iron bars and tear telephone directories in half. Her face, I'm afraid, was neither a thing of beauty or a thing of joy ever. So this is what Miss Trunchbull looks like. Not too bad, is she? Okay, are you ready? She had an obstinate chin and a cruel mouth. And she had small, arrogant eyes. And as for her clothes, they were, to say at least, extremely odd. She had always had on a brown smock, which was pinched in around the waist, and a wide leather belt. The belt was fastened in the middle with an enormous silver buckle. There we go, and that says silver buckle. Okay. The massive thighs which emerged from out the smock were encased in a pair of extraordinary breeches, bottle green in colour, and made of coarse twill. These breeches reached to just below the knees, and from there on down she sported green stockings with turnover tops, a bit like socks with turnovers, which displayed her calf muscles to perfection. On her feet she wore flat-heeled brown brogues with leather flaps. She looked, in short, more like rather an eccentric and bloodthirsty follower of staghounds than a headmistress of a nice school for children. When Miss Honey entered the study, Miss Trunchbull was standing beside her huge desk with a look of scowling impatience on her face. "Yes, Miss Honey," she said. "What is it you want? You're looking rather flush and flustered this morning. What's the matter with you? Have those little stinkers been flicking spitballs at you?" "No, Miss Headmistress, nothing like that." "Well, what is it then? Get on with it. I'm a busy woman." And as she spoke, she reached over and poured herself a glass of water from a jug that was always on her desk. "There was a little girl in my class called Matilda Wormwood," Miss Honey began. "That's the daughter of that man that owns Wormwood Motors in the village," Trunchbull barked. She hardly ever spoke in a normal voice. She either barked or she shouted. She said, "An excellent person, Wormwood. I was only in there yesterday. He sold me a car, almost new, only done 10,000 miles. Previous owner was an old lady who took it out once a year at the most. A terrific bargain." Now, what do we know about that car? What is she going to find out? "I like Wormwood, a real pillar of our society. He told me that the daughter was a bad lot, though. He said to watch her. He said if anything that bad happened in the school, it was certain to be his daughter that did it. I haven't met the little brat yet. She'll know about it when I do. Her father says she's a real wart." That's not a very nice way to talk about your child, is it? I wonder how your parents and carers talk about you. I'm sure they don't call you warts. "Oh no, Headmistress, that can't be right," Miss Honey said. "Oh yes, Miss Honey, it is damn well right. In fact, now I come to think of it, I bet it was she that put the stink bum under my desk first thing this morning. The place stank like a sewer. Of course it was her. I shall have her for that. You see if I don't. What she looked like, nasty little worm, I'll be bound. I'll have discovered, Miss Honey, during my long career as a teacher, that a bad girl is far more dangerous creature than a bad boy. What's more, they're harder to squash. Squashing a bad girl is like trying to squash a blue bottle. You bang down on it and a darn thing isn't there. Nasty, dirty things, little girls. Glad I was never one. Oh, but you must have been a little girl once, headmistress. Surely you were. Not for long anyway, Miss Trunchbull barked, grinning. I became a woman very quickly. She's completely off her rocker, Miss Honey told herself. She's as balmy as a bedbug. Miss Honey stood resolutely before the headmistress. For once she was not going to be browbeaten, so she wasn't going to be told by the headmistress what to do. I must tell you, headmistress, she said, that you are completely mistaken about Matilda putting the stink bomb under your desk. I am never mistaken, Miss Honey. But headmistress, the child only arrived this morning and came straight into my classroom. Don't argue with me, for heaven's sake, woman. This little brute, Matilda, or whatever her name is, has stink-bombed my study. There's no doubt about it. Thank you for suggesting it. But I didn't suggest it, headmistress. Of course you did. Now what is it you want, Miss Honey? Why are you wasting my time? I came to talk to you about Matilda, headmistress. I have some extraordinary things to report about the child. May I please tell you what happened in class just now? I suppose you set fire to your skirt or scorched your knickers, Mr. Trunchbull snorted. No, Miss Honey cried out. Matilda is a genius. At the mention of this word, Trunchbull's face turned purple and her whole body seemed to swell, a bit like a bullfrog. A genius, she shouted. What piffle are you talking, madam? You must be out of your mind. I have a father's word for it that this child is a gangster. Her father must be wrong, headmistress. Don't be a twerp, Miss Honey. You have met the little beast for half an hour and her father has known her all her life. But Miss Honey was determined to have her say, and now she began to describe some of the amazing things Matilda had done with her arithmetic. So she's learned a few times tables by heart, has she? Miss Trunchbull barked. My dear woman, that does not make her a genius. It makes her a parrot. But Miss Headmistress, she can read. So can I, said Miss Trunchbull. It is my opinion, Miss Honey said, that Matilda should be taken out of my form and placed in the top form with the 11-year-olds. Ha! Said Miss Trunchbull. So you want to get rid of her, do you? So you can't handle her. So now you want to unload it to the wretched Miss Plimsoll in the top form where she'll cause even more chaos. No, said Miss Honey. That's not my reason at all. Oh, yes it is, Miss Trunchbull said. I can see right through your little plot, madam, and my answer is no. Matilda stays where she is and it is up to you to check she behaves herself. But Miss Headmistress, please. Not another word, shouted Miss Trunchbull. And in any case, I have a rule in this school that all children remain in their age groups, regardless of ability. Great Scott, I'm not having a little 5-year-old brigand sitting with the senior girls and boys in the top form. Who ever heard of such a thing? Miss Honey stood there helpless before this great redneck giant. There was a lot more she would have liked to have said, but she knew it was useless. So she said softly, Very well then. It's up to you, Headmistress. You're damn right it's up to me, Miss Trunchbull bellowed. And don't forget it, madam, that we are dealing with a little viper who put a stink bomb under my desk. She did not do that, Headmistress. Of course she did, Trunchbull boomed. And I'll tell you what, I wish to heavens I was still allowed to use a Burton belt like I did in the good old days. I would have roasted Matilda's bottom for her so she couldn't sit down for a month. Now in the olden days, if somebody was naughty at school, they were allowed to use a cane and the child had to bend over or put their hands out and they got whacked. Luckily we don't do that anymore. Not that any of you would get that anyway. Miss Honey turned and walked out of the study feeling depressed, but by no means defeated. I'm going to tell you something about this child, she said to herself. I don't know what it will be, but I shall find out a way to help her in the end.